Hi and welcome everybody. Now again we've got the whirring, so I'm not quite sure if we have gone live yet, but we're going live. So this is Janice here, the Success Attitude Specialist, and I'm coming from New Zealand where we've gone back into lockdown, and so that's been a bit of a shock to us up here, down here in Auckland. And so what I wanted to talk to you about today was about willingness to learn. So what I've done is I've put this out on my e-zine. So if you've read my e-zine, you will get a little bit of information about it, but I've added some little bits to it as well. Now, you might wonder why it's important to be willing to learn. Well, so if we think about it, there's a new evolution happening in the world, and we've got to either, if we want to keep up with about what's happening in the world and how we can improve ourselves, is to continue to learn, or if not, we get stuck in the past. And so that's kind of what we're looking at. But I'm going to be sharing an unusual story today, so just be prepared that I have got it written down, even though I know what's happened about it. It is a bit unusual, but it is true. And it happened to me last week when my mum came to visit. And so if you don't know, I am a transformational coach, but I am also an oracle now, a channel. And so essentially, divine God, guidance, whoever you want to call the chaps upstairs, were guiding me to get onto my journey, to start to believe in myself and to do the work that I'm doing before I even knew I had to do it. So I was getting shoulder tapped by them, and so at the beginning I didn't know what was happening, but I've learned, and I'm doing my life work now, which we'll talk about as well. So what I want to talk to you about is this learning process. So do you kind of remember when you sort of bake something or you're studying and you think you're going to shortcut and you mess it up? I do. I'm not a great cook. So then you sort of suddenly realize I actually do have to learn how to do this properly. Or the other thing is that you've got a book, and I've got one right now, Dr. Joe Dispenza book, and it's so interesting, it's so complicated for me to read, but I'm devoting all my spare time to do it, a few pages at a time. So therefore we're interested in really learning what it is that we've got in front of us right now. So the other thing that we can do is, when we're learning, is sometimes we can either take the shortcut and hope that's going to work, and that's like not listening to your inner guidance or your GPS or your soul, and then you do something and you're on the wrong road and you're not happy. Or it is then that you do the best thing that you can do, and you learn how to get on to your soul and your life journey, so that you get there quicker than if you didn't do it at all. So kind of that's our learning stages. We have a whole lot of different learning stages as well, but I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about here. The three other learning stages. So I'll just give you this one, is that the first time we try something, we think, oh, that's impossible, I can't do that. It's like learning to use a new computer. It's everything's different, or a new program or something, and then we practice it for a while and we think, oh yeah, now I can remember how to do this and do that, and then eventually in 3 months or 6 months or 3 weeks, depends how many times we've done it, we actually do know how to use it. We go through all those learning stages with everything, whether we're learning how to skydive, whether we're learning how to jet ski, or whatever it is that we're doing, but those are the stages we're going through. So what today I wanted to share about is that, when do we choose to learn? And usually when we're down on our knees, when we're unhappy, or we've had a niggling thought that's happening in our mind that's sort of urging us to kind of go out and learn something, or follow this, or pick up that book. And that's our inner soul, or our guidance, our inner guidance, our GPS, urging us to pick this up because it's going to make us feel better. Whether it's that we're down on our knees and we've lost everything, and I've been there, done that, so I know what that's like, and it feels like crap, and then getting picked up to move on again. Or the fact that you're wanting to get fit and healthy, and you sort of see something that, the keto recipes, and you say, oh yeah, that sounds really good, I'm going to follow that. But it's about then being willing to read all the keto recipes and get all the food and implement those and do the whole process so that you're going to be healthier. So you've got to choose when you are willing to learn. If you're stuck in a rut and you're just going round and around in a circle like this, and you're caught up in fear and negativity, you're stuck, and your level of consciousness is really down low, and therefore you are living in fear. And what you've got to learn to do is, bit by bit, is take a step upwards, so that you're learning to live in faith. And it is a journey as well, let me assure you. So what I've just written as well is a course called Reset Your Success. And really that's what the whole world is having to do. We're all having to work out how do we live in this new normal world now where we've got the virus that is affecting us there, that we can't go out and live how we used to do. We can't do what, I'd love to be going traveling, meeting my partner halfway across the world. But, at this stage, I'm too scared to get out of New Zealand. I mean, he's on a boat, so we're actually in the safest places, miles apart. So, but it's how does everyone cope with a loss of a job, a loss of a dream? It could be a dream, a home maybe, a relationship, and how do you pick up again? And so I've started this page. You can find it on Facebook if you want to have a look at it. I'm sharing just a few new concepts, but we actually go through a grief process where we kind of have to learn to let go as much as it is tricky and then come out the other side. So I know when I lost my, in 2010, when I lost my corporate training business and when I lost my my rental property, because I invested the money back into the business to try and get it going, that it took me it took me 3 months to 4 months to actually start to feel okay again. In between that, I'd collapsed and gone into hospital, and they said, well, just go and rest and you'll be fine. And it's like, well, fine, what am I going to do? I've lost everything. So I know what that feels like. So it's picking up the pieces and then getting on track. And for me, I decided to devote my life to bringing the movie and doing the work that the chaps upstairs have been nudging me to do. So this is kind of what this story is about. This is about being willing to learn new concepts to make your life better. So this did happen. It is unusual, so be prepared. But it's what my life is like at times. So it's my birthday, and I was up at the family home, and I was cooking, which is a bit unusual for me. And then suddenly the kitchen tap turned on really hard. So I went and turned it off, and I said to my girlfriend in the dining room, did you see that? And she said, yeah, it did. And so as I walked back into the kitchen, I was stopped dead in the middle of the kitchen. I couldn't move. So what it was is my mum had come to visit me from the other side. Now, I couldn't physically see my mum, but I could see my mum in my head. And my mum was there, and my father was behind her, and my friend's father was behind my mum as well. And I couldn't move any further. Basically, they were blocking the way. It's like, stop here, listen to us. So really what was happening was my mum and dad, our two dads, my girlfriend's dad and mine, who are on the other side, were giving me a message to say, thanks. They loved that I was using the family home, that I had put flowers and music in there, and I invited Elliot, or my friend, across for dinner. And they were really happy that I was helping her out because it was her father that had come through as well. And so in part of this, it was like I was being thanked, but I was being thanked from the other side. Now, what happened next night was I told my sister about it, who'd come up to visit for my birthday. And she just had reread my book, The Success Attitude, Haunting Messages Guiding Us. And so she was kind of up to speed with what I have learnt to do, because I either had to embrace it or reject it. And so she knew that I had visions and things like that. And then we're having tea, and she said, oh, the tap's gone on. Started dripping. And I said, no, it wasn't Mum. And I could, because I know I can feel Mum. And I actually had told Mum the night before, if she was coming through to us, turn the tap on hard so that we would know that it was her. So, but what was interesting was that my sister was now really willing to learn. 6 years ago, when my mum died, and my mum wanted to give a message and thank my sisters, they weren't ready to learn. But now, 6 years later, she's willing to embrace this new concept of learning about another world that is there, which is God, divine masters, ascended masters, higher intelligence, whoever you want to call them, are actually there. So for all of us, we have to be in a state where we are ready and willing to learn. So that's what we're facing now in the world. What are we learning now to be able to make our lives better, to be able to create our dreams again? So if you want a copy of the book that I've just mentioned, because I was in a haunted house, I had visitors in there. It was the haunting messages in my mind as well, and it was the haunting messages that I was receiving from the chaps upstairs that I was starting to understand and integrate into my life better and do the work that I was being nudged to do by them. So just drop a comment in the link below and I'll put it in there. So for you, it's understanding that this is all a journey and you have to be ready, basically down on your knees or ready to make a change before you will make that change. So I'm just seeing where I'm up to here. So if you're, your heart and your soul are your guiding light. If they're out of sync and you're kind of like this, then your mind doesn't know whether to do the logical thinking, the soul thinking, the heart thinking, and therefore your actions in your life are all out of sync. So what you're wanting to do is get your heart and your soul and then your thoughts and then your actions, so you're actually walking down the one direction in life, and that's when you're on track. And so for you, it's understanding that's the process that you've got to go through, because otherwise you've got the whole area of your life and you're all going in different directions. Now, Dr. Wayne Dwyer wrote a book, said, I can see clearly now. And it's true, so can I. I understand it now. I understand I was sent to that house with the visitors so that I could learn, so therefore I could teach. And so I could write the movie, and it's in the movie when the movie comes out, because the world half understands this, half embraces it, but it's actually true. And when we have got troubles, what do a lot of people do first? They pray. They mightn't believe in God any other time, but when something happens, they pray, or they go to horoscopes, or they go looking at tarot cards, or they go for angel reading. So we're all asking for something to an invisible field, asking for answers so that we can make ourselves better. So for you, I wouldn't be doing my job properly because I've been guided to do this. So if this is ready and you're really willing to learn, I'll put the link in here somewhere or down below. Click on that and you can have a book free success strategy call for me as well. So just the last thought that I want to leave you with is that kind of what I've just mentioned is that, millions of the people around the world are looking for this new normal. What is the new way that we're going to live? And so although my story might sound a little bit bizarre, it was really lovely for me to receive a compliment from mum and dad who are on the other side and say thanks for helping others. But also it was lovely for my friend to receive a little message that her dad was there as well. But for you, it's understanding that as we pray, as we look at tarot cards, as you look at all those reading, those things we're looking for, you are actually looking for answers. And you're looking for solutions. You're looking for a way to feel better. And so when you feel better, you're happier and you're more at peace. And that is a journey. I can tell you that is a journey. So I'm sharing my work and my stories to be able to empower you, to move you forward, to get you thinking differently. And so if you are ready, click on the link and have a call. But the main thing is that you are thinking differently and understand that for you to change your life, you actually have to do and go on that journey yourself. You have to be willing to move over fear, out of fear. You have to be willing to go up your level of consciousness and move away from fear, negativity, and go up here and get into trust and faith so that you can achieve the life you want. So when I wrote this yesterday, I did get blessings from me, and I'll give you blessings as well, love and light, but also I got blessings and love and light from the guys upstairs as well. So so when I coach, this is what I'm doing. I'm getting all the practical stuff. And even this morning when one of my clients sent me something through, I got the goosebumps on my right legs, which is a message from Divine that he's on track. And my job is to get him on track, my job to get people on track. So unusual story, yes. True story, yes. You can get that for yourself as well if you're ready. But the most important thing is that you're willing to learn and move up to the next stage of your life journey and create the happiness and success that you deserve. So thanks for listening.